And a warm welcome. Thank you for joining us here for another live episode of Conversations with Michael. And of course, we are streaming live from our home studio in the Willamette Valley of Oregon. Last night and throughout this morning, we were greeted with a lot of high winds and a lot of rain, a lot of energy moving on the planet right now. But it actually feels really good, even if it's not ideal sleeping weather. And if you're new to our work, feel free to visit our website. You can find all of our upcoming events on our homepage. And of course, we are very excited to present our newest series of iMystic workshops starting next week. We know that the number one frustration connected to this human soul experience is the ongoing disconnect with your soul. More and more people share with us private sessions, group sessions, emails. What can we do to maintain a steady relationship with the presence of our soul? And it would be so much easier if we just had an on and off switch on the body. So Michael promised us earlier this year that he would address this issue in a more dynamic way in using a new format, one that is more interactive and allows him to serve you for 3 full days in a more intimate fashion. So welcome to the iSpirit series, iMystic series, because there now exists, because of your determination to experience your soul, a new window of opportunities that are emerging as we speak, unlike anything that we have ever experienced on this planet. And one of those has everything to do with experiencing the presence of your soul, now anchored to this physical reality. So, we come together once a month to share our presence with a global group of fellow creators and to celebrate the choice many of us made during this lifetime to take responsibility for the life we are living. But what did that choice require? Well, a willingness from our human part to allow the presence of our soul to be at the front of our life, while at the same time offering the human part the ride of its life. And what a ride it's been and continues to be, simply because what we experience while living a soul-filled life is truly profound. All is good with the presence of our soul inside of our physical body with us. At least it is inside of our own creations. No worries, no concerns. Now we know to the average person, that sounds incredibly arrogant and really naive. No worries, no concerns. Just turn on your computer or read any newspaper and it's clear to anyone to see that all isn't well on this planet. And if all you perceive is through the eyes of just your human part, that's very true. It's as if something has cast a spell over the hearts and minds of every single human being, placing the human spirit in some kind of a hypnotic trance, unable to remember what part of us incarnated on this planet, where we came from, and why we are here. And then we awakened and slowly began to realize we are not of this world. We are sovereign creators of our own experience. So we come together to act as supports to each other during one of the most intense transitions this human family has ever experienced. My wife Coken and I feel so incredibly honored to be of service, in part because this is all about our freedom, is it not? We know a lot of people have given lip service to this thing called freedom. A lot of battles have and continue to be fought, all in the name of freedom. But if we don't have the courage to face the battle from within, well, we just end up projecting those conflicted energies into the collective consciousness of this human family. The freedom we are speaking of takes a tremendous amount of courage to do what? To lay down the sword once and for all. Because it requires of all of us to acknowledge those parts inside of us that exist inside the shadow of our own light. So we come together each month to courageously shine the brilliance of our light. I do that by sharing a part of my own multidimensional nature, a triangle of identities that include my human self, my soul, and Michael. Traditionally, this would represent some type of personality disorder. But I've made peace with the fact that our existence is not limited to one identity, one self, one dimension, or even one reality. So I take a deep breath and I just allow Michael to step forward. It's actually really simple. Once your human part gets the hang of it, what's really hard is denying this as being our natural state. So deep breath, my friends. A very deep breath. As once again I allow Michael to step forward. Yes, indeed. It is I, Michael, and it is that simple. I share my presence, not as a channeled message, but as a natural part of Robert's soul. It is my honor to be of service. How long have all of you waited for this opportunity to own your own magnificence? From my perspective, it's been a very long time. It represents such an incredible story. How long have you feared your own light? It's been quite the journey. Such a fear created one hell of a story. So together we did something new. You came to Earth to observe this cosmic story, but in slow motion, to better understand your relationship to your own light, which then gave birth to a new story, one that only becomes real if it's real for you. Not at face value. All of you have tried that. But as a first-hand experience. And what is it that all of you are now experiencing? Indeed, to have at your fingertips the immense responsibility and awareness that you are indeed creating your own reality. That's not something you're going to hear on the evening news. about 10 years ago in front of a group of awakened human beings. As the Archangel Michael, I laid down my sword to honor the path all of you have now chosen to walk too. No longer asking or depending on an archangel to protect you from the fear of your own light. Now, with the core of your soul alive and well inside of you, not fully integrated, but it is indeed present. The heart of creation is now at your service. It offers an experience that has, for the most part, been long forgotten, in part because of all the distractions that served a cosmic perception, a belief that the heart of creation was somehow missing from your reality. And if not for all of you during this lifetime, it would continue to reside deep within the shadow of your own light, waiting for any human being to recognize who you really are. A sacred being having a divine experience. But to own such a state of consciousness here as a human being, you also had to make another bold choice. Because you love this planet. You love all life on this planet. On a good day, you truly do love your family, friends, and even some of your neighbors. But to share the quality of love you feel with your soul, one that has no agenda or condition attached to it, you discovered that love becomes diminished if you do get entangled with a variety of energies that exist inside a reality that actually fears the light of consciousness. So you stepped away from a very conflicted reality by being on this planet but not of it. Just like every other being who has ever walked the same path on this planet. Not because you don't care about the conditions that face Earth at this time, it's because you do. And if that statement makes zero sense to some of you, then don't take our word for it. Experience it for yourself. Experience how the presence of your own light can radically change any and all perceptions that support a variety of beliefs, some of which you have died for, so as to share a quality of love with everyone on this planet that has, for the most part, never been experienced. That too can sound and feel surreal. When was the last time any of you met another human being sharing its love for life without any conditions or agenda? Probably never. So in my service to all of you, I have invited you to be of service to your own light by first honoring and loving your own life. And what did you discover? Well, you discovered this thing called self-love cannot be contained. Indeed, welcome to my reality. For your own health and well-being, you discovered it has to be shared. It has to radiate from within, touching the life of all beings on this planet. Such a light has been called many things. I call my radiance Christ consciousness in action. The impact of such a light does many things. In your own life, did it not turn it upside down? Not a very good selling point, is it? Most people, they would settle for an improved version of what they don't like. Upside down sounds kind of crazy. But such a choice exposes all the areas where you have denied love for you, for yourself, all the parts of yourself that don't feel they to be loved, all the parts of yourself that have forgotten how to be in receivership, receiving the unlimited support that is constantly being shared by the presence of your own soul, 24/7. So your awakening, for the most part, wasn't filled with bliss. It brought you to your knees. But now so many of you are consciously sharing a light that did touch your heart and transformed your life into what it is today. Sharing it to inspire this human family to begin to honor and respect their life, to pause, if but for a moment, and to allow this light to touch their heart, reminding them of what is real, reminding them of what is sacred, and what they also, like you, deserve to experience just as they are. But as you all discovered, it's not an easy choice. All of you inherited layers upon layers of guilt and shame. You carried that energy in your heart for a very long time. But when you get to that place where you're finally willing to let it all go, you realized how little of your life was your own. It's such an honor to serve those who are willing to experience the life that allows what? Free expression. No matter what your current circumstances might be or who you are, we have never met such a courageous group of human beings as you existing right now on this planet. Because it's not an easy thing to do. To stop using your thinking process to make sense of your life. To stop and to start using a more intuitive approach that allows you to feel the countless potentials that exist right now in every moment. How does one do that? Well, simply by allowing the energetic presence of the non-physical version of you to also be here. But as all of you discovered, that too is not so easy. In part because of the veil that exists on this planet between the physical and the etheric realm. But of course, that too has shifted and continues to change as you continue to allow your light to be in your life. Deep breath, my friends. throughout all creation. There is no other being quite like you. It represents one of the many gifts all of us received when the original self chose to set itself free, to now be countless versions of itself, allowing all facets to perceive themselves in any manner they choose. And some would say that such a freedom is the very reason why so many beings don't trust this original gift. Some would suggest that this world would be better served if it was managed, so as not to encounter so many unknown possibilities. A freedom without boundaries sounds like chaos to a lot of beings. And yet, to the heart of your soul, it represents the sweetest joy it has ever experienced. We know some of you have tasted this joy. It has transformed your life. You ascended from all those underlying conflicted energies that help to define who you are. It has literally placed you in a very different reality, one that is unknown to most human beings. In your past, a few have shared this type of experience during their own lifetime. Their experience helped to shape what is now called spirituality, while at the same time, those parts of you that prefer to manage your heart, they help to shape the institutions that are based on this presence of spirit. And if you're like Robert, you also discovered that a human soul experience requires a great deal of patience, a tremendous amount of compassion, for it to be an embodied experience. And perhaps, like Robert, you have also realized that it is constantly growing, changing, and expanding. It is not a static experience, which can be a little confusing to those parts of you that just love to manage and control life. But that is why your soul invited the mind to now sit in the passenger seat. It's not a demotion for the part that has played, for the part that it has played all those lifetimes. It's an honor, dear mind, to be of service to your soul. Over the years, Ancient Wings has also experienced quite a few changes. The moment that I, Michael, started to address you as conscious creators of your own experience, we noticed that didn't really resonate with everyone, because it requires of you to be incredibly honest with yourself, a willingness to acknowledge those parts of you that feel from their own experience that life just happens to you. There is so much guilt and shame, so much anger connected to this human story. It has taken the sweetness of your soul's presence and turned it into a fairy tale. We know that a lot of you want more than anything to experience the freedom and the joy that is a natural part of being a conscious creator We honor such a choice, but we also honor that it's not for everyone at this time. All those issues that are related to sex, money, and power, they all come to the surface. Perhaps you have read stories from others who claim this freedom for themselves. In all those stories, there also exists an underlying passion, a fire to experience something that speaks to their heart. Something outside of the endless power games, all the feeding, consuming, and extracting of energies. So reading about the life of some of your fellow masters can truly be uplifting. While at the same time, it also felt to many of you that they had a really hard time enjoying the human experience. So it can be a little scary to your human part to make this thing called freedom real from the inside out. A freedom that allows you to choose what is real and what isn't. Such a freedom will naturally be challenged by not only your mind, but by the collective consciousness of this human family. Oh, you can walk away from your family anytime you want, but your mind stays with you. It just needs now to let go of the steering wheel just long enough to experience the sweetness of your soul. And that is why we gather with all of you every month in this format, by sharing our presence, to inspire you to trust in the presence of your soul nature. Let's do that right now. Take a deep breath and just notice how your body is feeling right now. Does it feel safe to be on this planet at this time? Well, it doesn't at all if your soul isn't in the picture. Take another deep breath. But this time, just imagine that your soul is also breathing with you. How does that feel? Now, is your human insisting that your soul breathe inside of its story? What happens when your soul invites you, human, to breathe with its presence? Very good. Now just acknowledge whatever your human part feels about such an invitation. Just acknowledge it. And then the hard part, can you also accept it? No matter what it is, there's no right or wrong here. But it's very important that you're willing to accept whatever the human part is feeling. Because self-acceptance is a profound expression of self-love. Now take another deep breath and see if your human part is now willing to breathe inside of your soul story. And how does that feel? Let's do that a little while, a few minutes. The human breathing inside your soul story while we play some music in the background. Very good. Very good. Another deep breath. What a powerful choice. Truly, to stop thinking, to stop processing just long enough to really feel your human and soul now breathing together. You can shift how you're feeling about your day anytime you want, simply by shifting all the attention that your thinking process demands. By shifting to what? To a more intuitive approach, one that relies more on the central nature of your soul for guidance. By using your breath to remind you of all the support your central nature provides. A conscious breath to remind you to connect with your physical body. Now, every master that has walked this path before you will freely admit such a choice sounds so simple, but it perhaps was the most difficult choice they ever made, because it returned your basic creator skills back to your heart. The mind aligned with a mental construct of a reality, it's also more than capable of creating its own reality. The condition of this planet is but one example. Are you comfortable with the world you live in as it is? Or does it feel like something is missing? So with the heart now at the front of your life, while you're breathing with your soul, imagine the reality you can now create for yourself. Go ahead. Imagine it. Let yourself dream big while you're breathing with your soul. And then watch the pieces, the opportunities start to fall in place one day at a time. You now attract those possibilities to you with a feeling of passion for living inside the very life you have created, while your human part continues to breathe with the energetic presence of your soul. And if you need some help with this, flush your human pride down the toilet. There are more teachers and guides on this planet than at any other time who are here right now to serve you. Choose one and let them help you. Because, my friends, now is the time. And of course, speaking of all those teachers and guides, your greatest service has also changed. You can feel it in your own heart. It's time to share a type of wisdom that is unique to you and only you. It is time, my friends, to allow your soul to get in the front of any other being that has also ascended from this fear-based reality in service to your voice, your story, your own experience as it pertains to the life you are currently living. You are now free to be ascended too. There is indeed a new world waiting for the new creators to joyfully create a world that finally makes sense. The part that many of you play is simply to share your radiance, as your human part allows the soul to breathe with it inside of this human experience. And for some of you, there exists a new window of countless opportunities emerging, unlike anything that any of you have ever experienced as a human being. We asked Robert to help create a new series of workshops called iMystic in service to this new window. The first one coming up in a few days. I look forward to helping all of you to deepen your experience with your soul and to help prepare you for a more unfiltered experience. This window we speak of will continue to expand and grow. It represents a very profound moment in the history of creation. So now is a very good time to pay attention. So much is happening inside the presence of your soul. And within this group of fully awakened human beings, I'm deeply honored to act as your guide in service to your voice, the voice of your soul, your presence, and your own unique state of consciousness. Indeed. Thank you for being here today. Inside your being part, all is good. No worries, no concerns. Take care of yourself, my friends.